Imagine waking up in a place where you don't know where you are, where you've been, what's happened. You get up to move and you can't. You go to speak, but you don't remember. Everything's different. This is what happened to Dan Fitzgereld. Life for Dan was pretty great. He played baseball, golf, hung out with his friends, went to youth group. He had no clue how quickly that life was about to change.
When I was in 8th grade, my friends and I were part of a church group, and we were doing trust activities, and people were getting thrown up in a sleeping bag. It was my turn to get thrown up, and for some reason, someone slipped when I came down, landed on my head on the concrete. Everyone freaked out, and no one thought I was that seriously injured. My friends didn't really think that...
Dan's friends had no clue that these injuries were not only serious, but life-threatening.
That was like a bad hit to the head. I wound up blacking out and throwing up, and my dad had to run in and carry me to the hospital. At the hospital, the local one, they couldn't operate on me because my head injury was too severe. So they had to airlift me to Stony Brook Hospital, which is up the island about an hour away from where I live. I underwent life-saving surgery to reduce the swelling in my brain from the initial impact, and another surgery to remove the blood from my brain and to put a small titanium plate into where the fractured skull was. After that, I spent roughly a month in a drug-induced coma. When I came out, I was in the hospital, and I briefly remember certain things happening in the hospital. And then after I came out of the coma fully, I was transported to a children's rehabilitation hospital called St. Charles. I had to undergo occupational therapy and all kinds of stuff to get me back on my feet. And it was really difficult coming out of the coma in the hospital because when I hopped out of bed, I was really unsure of what happened. I was really drugged up. Everything was fuzzy. I had vision problems. And I hopped out of bed that first day, though, when I was fully conscious. And I couldn't stand on my feet. I just fell right back into bed. I couldn't walk. So the doctors and my mom had...
Although Dan's friends were worried about him, their lives quickly returned to normal as Dan remained in a coma for 2 months.
And it was as if the coma never happened. There were some crazy experiences that I had when I was there. Some kind of spiritual thing happened to me when I was in the hospital, and I'm not really sure what it was. And I remember just lights coming to visit, this bright light. And then I would have these continuous, I don't even know if they were dreams. I'm not really sure what it was, but I remember something from the sleep or something, the coma or whatever, and it was really spiritual. I don't remember too in depth, it's been years since I remember all this, but that really changed me though, the whole experience. And I realized not to take things for granted because one day you wake up and you're in a hospital and everything is wrong and you have a bandage on your head, you're bleeding and you need surgeries, and it just changed me.
After the accident, Dan's road to recovery was a tough one. He had to learn to walk and talk, and with going into high school, it was hard enough just to remember to brush his teeth, let alone do his homework. Dan says he wasn't back to his old self until probably senior year. Dan's experience is one to note. Not everyone can go through something that traumatic and come out just your everyday guy. When you see Dan around campus now, you would never know what he's gone through. He's definitely someone to admire and look up to. With all that he's been through, he always seems to have a smile on his face, and maybe it's because he knows just how important life is, or how easy it is just for it to slip away.